founder and CEO of Heavenly Cynt Youth, which is an enrichment mentoring program for Black and brown youth in Chicago and surrounding areas, right? And so we have some amazing things coming up. I'm actually doing a celebration party, if I should say, end of the year celebration party for about 30 kids. I'm going to pick 30 kids to come in and celebrate this this event with us. We got a DJ, we got some food. Big shout out to Toys for Tots for getting us toys, right? I'm so excited to even be in the parade. They got a parade, I think it's December 3rd. I am going to be in the parade. I'm excited about that. They've opened arms, if that makes sense. They welcome me with open arms, that's it. And so I appreciate them for, for support and, just bringing me in and letting me tell my story. And so I'm thankful for that. So with that being said, you guys know I like to bring in individuals that I think are doing some amazing things and or that can give us an insight or their insight on how to be a better individual and how they're moving and things like that, right? So with that being said, I always get my left and right mixed up, right? Because on the screen it look different, right? So this is my left, this is my right. So with that being said, I have Mr. Carr next to me. And what's so crazy is that I met Mr. Carr, of course we're Facebook friends and I didn't know, but I met him at an event that Tamisha Green, she invited me to. I think it was like a networking event. And he was like, I think I know you. And I'm like, gotta be from Facebook. I thought church because I be going to church, y'all. But I don't think he mentioned church. And so just to hear some of the things that he's been doing, and, I've been watching him on Facebook, and, he's a young man that's doing some amazing things. I think I spoke to him when I was trying to figure out how I was going to do my other podcast, which is called Real Men, Real Talking. Me and Deshaun have a conversation, and, he gave me some ideas, and so I want to say thank you for that. And it's been going strong, and so I hope to have you on there sooner than not too. So with that being said, I'm going to let Deshaun tell you guys who he is, what he got going on, and why I chose to have him on Heavenly Cynt. People you should know.
I'm Deshaun Carr, the owner of On Time Freight Solutions and On Time Mobile Wash, real estate developer. That's really it for me.
He said that's really it. How old are you, Deshaun?
I'm 29. I'm 30. See, I'm still thinking I'm 29.
He 30, and so I was looking on social media and I saw this property that he purchased, and so he's got the transformation process on Facebook. So to see where he started and how it is now, being 30 years old, a Black man. I mean, that's a lot. I don't even have a house yet, and so to see that, and then he mentioned he has what's the name of the other business?
You have On Time Mobile Wash. On
Time Mobile Wash. And what is that?
That's the detail company that mobilely detail cars, trucks, boats, RVs, bikes, planes. Like, we do it all.
And he's 30 years old, and he said that's it. He could be doing anything else, but you guys heard him. He's into real estate, and he's about his business, and so I like that. And what's so crazy, Deshaun, is that prior to me sitting at home trying to figure out what the topic was, not until I got here and realized why I chose that topic, right? And so on the flyer, I put finance, credit, or something like that, and I put fatherhood, right? Mm-hmm. And so as we were sitting here talking, I thought about, like I just mentioned to you, just the other day, I went and visited my father, right? And so I'm forever 21, so I ain't gonna tell you how old I am. And so I don't ever remember sitting in the same space with him watching a football game. And so I was sitting there for about an hour watching a football game, and I had so many mixed emotions. And so that's neither here nor there. And so it was important for me to just get to him and, sit and talk with him and just let, the past be past. A lot of times, we wonder why people aren't present in our lives, right? And so it could have been, the Lord could have been blocking me from a slew of things. And so I'm just going to leave that where it's at. And so, 43 years, it's been a long time. And so I rekindled the relationship with my father. And so I think I feel good about it because, like we mentioned, like we spoke earlier, I think because of the void I had, I didn't really take men or relationships serious because I didn't know what I was looking for. When I think about it, I was looking for a father figure and a protector. And so I was seeking the wrong men. And so, yeah, that's pretty deep. So anyway, enough of me because my brain going all over the place. But Deshaun, can you speak on fatherhood, the importance of it, or even your upbringing or
Yeah, fatherhood is a key component to any man or woman life because the father is the person that really bring in the love and the guidance and the protection in the household. Me growing up, my father wasn't in the household, which caused me to be an angry child. From the age of 7 to 21,
wow,
I was an angry child and confused and didn't have any answers. I was confused because people would come around me that knew my dad and tell me about like all the nice cars and the properties that he bought and so on and so on. And I never understood if this man have all this nice stuff going on, why he don't want to share it or let his kids be a part of it. So when that took place, I started to like be confused and question like, is I'm a mistake? Why am I here? What's going on? Do he don't care about me? So I seeked attention in other ways. I seeked attention by acting out in school.
wow,
I seeked attention by going to the streets, selling drugs.
wow,
Just wanted that love. It took, like I said, it took until I was 21, and when I found myself battling stress from 7 to 21.
wow,
I found myself stressing about work. So with all that upon me, I started drinking alcohol, partying, to the point that I had got sick.
wow,
When I got sick, it was I had to do a reflection on what had happened to this point that
Wow.
caused me to get here, and what did I need to do to move forward to not ever be in this position again.
that's deep.
So when I got out the hospital, I called my grandmother up, which is my dad's mother, and I told her I wanted to have a conversation. She invited me out to her house. We sat down. We had a long conversation about how I felt, why I didn't spend time with her, and what happened. She gave me her side of the story. I took what I needed to take out the conversation, and I proceeded to have a conversation with my mother to get her side of what took place. Once I talked to her, I had a conversation with my dad. We went out to eat. We actually went to Papa's. We sat down, and I was very candid with the conversation. And he heard me out. He expressed himself, and at the end of the conversation, I explained to him that I'm not going to hold anything against you because I have 3 different stories. Like, and it's probably out of those 3 different stories, it's probably 5 different stories and one truth of it. So I can't hold you accountable for all this mixed information. However, I do want to move forward with a relationship with you. However, if you're going to continue to operate like you was at that time, I don't want to deal with the relationship at all. He expressed himself, and to this day we talk. If we don't talk once a day, we're going to talk at least 3 times a week.
I love it.
And that was a relationship that I seeked out because it was killing me inside.
Wow.
It was killing me in the inside on all levels, from a mental standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, and from a relationship standpoint, because I'm looking at how I was looking at it as, if a person that brought me into this world doesn't love me, why would somebody that I'm dealing with would love me unconditionally?
And it's extremely emotional, you know. And I'm hearing you, and I sympathize with you. And so I'm saying to myself, man, you're a male, so I'm going through the motions, because here I'm a female, and I was seeking a father figure in all the wrong men. And so I just thank God that I didn't turn out no different than what I am, because I didn't let that past experience or that situation turn me into somebody else. So I'm happy to hear that you now got a bond with your father, and you know, you guys talk, because it's so important. And see, I think now parents don't understand the importance of having both parties productively active in the kids' lives, because you guys heard his story from 7 up until in his 20s. There was a void, and so he was acting out. And so that's so common with so many kids. And so I think that's why I take time with kids, because I always say, even with adults, you have to look at the backstory to understand where they are now or why they act out. Kids act out for many other reasons, for so many different reasons, and a lot of it be, you know, trauma and hurt. And so, yeah, that's pretty. It's emotional. You know what I'm saying? It really is. Because, like you just said, my father has other children, and, you know, it was hard for me to build a bond with them, because I kind of felt it was a division. And so I didn't grow up with them. And so, you know, it was always kind of weird. But I just thank God now that we all are on one accord, and, you know, we grown now.
So to piggyback off what she just said, my dad have 7 kids, 8 kids altogether. And as of last week, that was my first time having majority of all of us in the room.
Wow.
Out of 30 years.
Wow.
So imagine 30 years, from 7 to 21. We're just gonna use 7 to 21. The birthdays, the happy moments that you'd miss with your siblings because of what the person who created you guys did or didn't do.
My father got about 20 kids. It's about 20 of us.
So
it's like every year we find somebody new.
It took me, I have to say this, it took me to seek out a relationship with all of them individually, and to get their viewpoint and how they felt about the similar situation that I spoke on earlier. Once we was able to understand what have taken place, we had to move forward with how could we move forward. For the people that's watching this and is in a similar situation, if you can have that conversation, don't matter if it goes how you want it to go, you have to have the conversation. You have to do it for you. You have to do it for you. Not if that person buy into it or not, or hear you out. You have to do it for you, meaning get it off your chest.
Thank you.
And let it go.
Yep.
Now, once you have that conversation, you have to be open to understanding that if this conversation do go left, meaning it don't go the way that you want it to go, what happens next?
Wow.
And if it does go the way you want it to go, what happens next?
I like the fact that you said in your conversation with your father, you pretty much gave him an ultimatum as to say, if we can't continue this relationship on a continuous level, I don't want I don't want before. So I like the fact that you was upfront and put that out there.
But you have to do that because, like I stated earlier, everything that happened between 7 and 21, honestly, I wasn't legal. So I can't judge you. I can't judge you what everybody else said about you. Now I'm
like
a grown individual. I have to see you for what I can see you for.
I like that.
So I had to let go of what was told to me, because everything was told to me. Good, bad, ugly was told to me. So I can let that cloud my judgment, or I can have the conversation with you and let you know where I stand and be open to having a relationship with you and get to know you myself. And based off what you give me moving forward, I know how to actually deal with you accordingly based off the facts, not of what my mama said, what my daddy said, what my auntie them said, or my grandma said.
So do you think, okay, so I'm listening to you. So what I didn't do with my father, I just sat there and just, had conversation. So I never confronted or had the conversation. I never asked the why questions. And so I think at this point it don't even matter, because I've held it in so long, or accepted it for the most part. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out.
It does matter.
I should have that conversation.
It does matter.
Okay.
Like it mattered because instead of you questioning anything, you can have clarity on what took place. So you'll be able to move forward however you want to move forward. So if he sit there and tell you, no, it wasn't my fault, this what actually took place, based off what your mama told you, you able to make sense out of it and move forward. If he tell you, okay, I don't want to deal with it, you heard that from his mouth. Then nobody else tell you that. You heard that from him. So as humans, we sometimes cloud our judgment with what if this and what if that, but without not doing. Meaning, instead of just asking the question directly and get factual information, meaning I'm sitting right here with you right now, we having this conversation. This factual information is on tape, is on record. Or me saying, or you saying, oh, I think this what it is, or I think this what it is. That's your own illusion you're painting. So a lot of people paint their own illusion about things, and most times it don't even be that. It really be a conversation. When you have a conversation, you get down to the nitty gritty. You get down to the factual of the situation. No matter if the person tell you the truth or not, you able to hold them accountable on, me and you had this conversation November 27th at this time, and you said this.
That makes sense.
So you get more closure in the situation. He might tell you he didn't want to be a parent. Okay, now that makes sense of why he operated the way he operated. But if you sit there and say, I don't know, I'm not gonna say anything, you have all these questions that's not answered that you still have to deal with. You still have to deal with those questions. You still have to deal with that void in your heart of why this and why is that. Why do that? You ain't gotta have that conversation on the first go around. You did what I'm saying. You went by. That happened for many reasons. That was meant to happen. He might be the person that you can't come off strong to on the first try. But that conversation is going to get have. If anybody ever saw Kurt Franklin story, he just met his father, his real father. And you got to have. It's how could you? Just think about this. I got to break this down to you. You're saying you're older, and you're saying you never had a relationship with him.
Correct.
In your whole life.
Correct.
How are we? What are we talking about at first? No, we gotta address that. We can't act like that didn't happen. We gotta address that. We gotta, hey, how you doing? You good? I'm good. Yeah. Could we have a hot conversation? Sure. Okay, let's sit down. Let's talk. I just got a couple questions to better understand you and me. I gotta break this ice. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like that didn't happen. We're not gonna sweep that under the rug. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna address that, because if we don't address that, you're gonna continue to doing what you're doing. We gotta address that. We gotta address how you made me feel, purposely or unpurposely. You gotta address how you feel. You got to address it before you guys can move on in the relationship. That's with any relationship. You got to address it.
Wow.
You
So-
can't sweep it under the rug.
That's deep. I'm gonna take your advice and do that. So your mom was a single parent, and despite all the odds, you still was able to get out and pretty much take care of yourself. So with that being said, you made mention earlier that you you're in real estate. So with that being said, what are the steps for an individual to even start a process like that? I know we talked about credit. How important is that? Because that isn't taught in school, as we know.
So on the real estate part, on the investment part, I would highly recommend that you guys learn about credit. Credit plays a big part of what you get approved for wherever you live in and how much you pay for things. With real estate, on the investment part, I had used a hard money lender. A hard money lender is a person that lends you money more easily than a bank typically lend to you. And you have to use a business or LLC to go get those funds.
Wow.
You typically have to have 25 or 20% of the down payment to fund the project, and they will basically break it down in draws. So what draws are is they send you do the work first with the liquid that you have, and they reimburse you once you prove that the work has been done correctly. And that project, that's what I did to get my feet into the door.
Nice.
However, moving forward, I wouldn't use hard money. And I wouldn't use them because of the interest payments. And if you know anything about real estate, you can have a deal that's supposed to take six months, but being in the city of Chicago, they take longer to give permits, so they might extend. You might wait 9 months just for permits.
Oh wow.
So if you don't have a deal like I have, which is a nice spread to make money off, you basically would be in a hole if you run into that issue. I would recommend you build your business credit and your personal credit, and use your credit cards to fund your projects.
Okay. Just help me. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, with that being said, I would like to thank my family for being my support system, for CAN TV for allowing me to have this platform, of course, for God being the head of my life. I mean, without God, I'm nothing. Mr. Carr, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to my daughter. My daughter have really helped me and motivated me to be the person that I am today. Give thanks to God for being patient with me, because I was a difficult person to deal with. My family and my supporters.
Well, I'm so happy to hear the word I'm looking for. I'm all discombobulated because I don't really talk about my father to anybody. You know, I never had that conversation. So for me to even open up and do it on this means that I guess it's been bothering me, right? So with your resilience, you know, it was imperative that I bring you on. The black man, Chicago, had this void. You know, you was acting out because of the void. You rekindled the relationship with your father, and now you are a businessman with a daughter that you pride. I mean, I love it. What better role model to put in front of the youth?
Appreciate it. It's hard. No, it's hard though. It's hard. You got to go against your flesh. It's hard.
So I'm proud of you. You know, I appreciate the conversations, and so as my pastor often say, iron sharpens iron. So keep doing what you're doing. You know, God will always open doors that man try to close if you continuously keep him first. And you're on the right track. And, you know, ain't nothing easy. Don't nothing come easy. So whatever you want, you got to work for it. That way you appreciate it. So you're doing just that. So with that being said, thank you guys. Well, I'll see you guys next week with Heavenly Sent People You Should Know.
Thank you.